Namaste, it's Renee, and welcome to my podcast, Peace, Love, Abundance. This month, the month of April, it doesn't really matter what month you're listening to this podcast in, but while I'm recording this, it happens to be the month of April, and April is my birth month, and I like to celebrate it by calling it Reneepril. So the entire month is Reneepril. And it kind of started out as a joke. Don't think I'm that big-headed that I get a whole month for my birthday. But it started out as kind of a joke that my son and my boyfriend, life partner, soulmate, whatever you want to call him, we've been together for several years. Anyway, the two of them just kind of kept screwing up my birthday per se. Like, in a sweet way. I love them both, but let's say that one March, on March 26th, they went all out for my birthday. I came home and I didn't understand why there was flowers on the table. There was a dessert setting up in the fridge, and I was like, "What's going on, guys? What's so special?" And they kept telling me, "Oh, you're so funny. You're so coy." They thought I was being coy about my birthday. And I'm like, "No, really, what's going on?" And they're like, "Well, it's your birthday." And I'm like, "No, it's not. My birthday is April 26th, not March 26th. So from that point on, it just kind of started to become a joke, because then we had several weeks of also, when am I going to have dinner with my dad and my sister, and getting together with other friends and family, that my birthday just naturally gets spread out. I do like to celebrate my birthday. In that particular year, literally it got spread out for over a month, because from March 26th to my actual birthday, April 26th, I got reminded of my birthday, right? So it just kind of became a joke between all of us, that they would tease me and say, "Yeah, your birthday lasts like a month long." And I said, "You know what? Yeah, it does. And we're going to now call it Reneepril." So that's how the name Reneepril came about. Anyways, welcome to my podcast and my story about Reneepril. This week is my actual birth week. So if you want to narrow it down to a week and a day, I'm recording this before April 26th, which is my actual birthday. So before I spend another year of my life, I wanted to sit down and clarify what are kind of the 7 pillars of my life. How do I like to hold my life together? What are the things that are most important to me? And the 7 pillars of life is what I'm calling it, or even 7 pillars of self-care. Because I'm a big advocate of self-care. I'm a big advocate of taking care of yourself. I even have a whole other episode on self-care, Ayurveda, yoga, you name it. That's pretty much what my podcast is about self-care and listening to your body and doing what feels right. The 7 pillars of self-care, aka my life, that I'm going to share with you. The first one is being honest. Honesty. Now, definitely honesty goes along with don't go out and steal, don't do bad or evil things, But really what I want to talk about, because if this is about self-care in life, then I want to talk about honesty to yourself. We have to be honest with ourselves and also with your community and your family and friends. But to believe it or not, honesty starts with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, then there's no way you're going to be honest with everybody else. So like I said, be a good person. Don't steal. Don't cause harm. Don't be violent. But this is actually more about how you treat yourself and being honest with yourself. And then from there, your community. So honesty, what I'm getting at is being honest with yourself, that when you look in the mirror, what do you see? We tend to beat ourselves up. We tend to treat ourselves worse than we would treat a stranger even. So it starts with treating yourself as well as you would treat a stranger and being honest with yourself. It's truly being authentic and not trying to be somebody else. And also keeping emotions in check, like jealousy. Emotions like jealousy can take us to places that we don't want to go, and we stop being honest with ourselves because the jealousy is making us want to live somebody else's life. We're jealous of somebody else or even a community or a society, and we stop being honest with ourselves and realizing what we have and being grateful for what we have. You have to appreciate what you have. So honesty goes along with appreciation and gratitude and knowing that you are exactly where you need to be right now and keeping your emotions in check so that things like jealousy and anger and hatred don't start to take over you and you become someone that maybe you're not. Because if you're becoming someone you're not being very honest with yourself. So honesty, that's what starts my 7 pillars of self-care and life is honesty. Be honest with yourself. Another way you need to be honest with yourself is your health. If you have more going on with your health than you want to admit, then you're not being honest with yourself. What I'm getting at is when you are constantly going to a doctor or seeking that magical pill to help you feel better, you're not being very honest with yourself because there is no magical pill out there. You might be able to get an antidepressant or a painkiller or something like that in the form of a pharmaceutical and continue to eat junk food and treat your body like shit and lay around and don't get exercise. That's not being very honest with yourself. That's just thinking that you're taking a magical pill and your health is going to clear itself up. But no, a lot of depression comes from not taking care of yourself. So depression, anxiety, pain in your body, and not being able to get out of bed in the morning, feeling sluggish and tired and lazy and so on and so forth, you're not being very honest with yourself. You're not living a very honest life, and that's what's dragging you down. Because honestly, your body knows that you're not being honest with yourself, but your brain just hasn't figured that out. You haven't made the connection. You're living in denial. So it's time to be honest with yourself. And along with that, we move on into the second pillar. The second pillar is self-love. It's really hard to have self-love for yourself if you're not being honest with yourself. If you are sore, tired, achy, sluggish, can't get out of bed, then all of that is going to go along with self-love, right? It's hard to love yourself when you can't even get out of bed in the morning. So you need to have self-love, but you can't have self-love without honesty. So you need to start being honest with yourself to find self-love. Now, there is such thing as tough love as well, right? Often, in order to have love, there needs to be a little bit of tough love. So some of this might sound tough and hard to do. And while you're trying to find self-love for yourself, you're like, well, Renee, how am I supposed to have self-love for myself when I'm judging myself for not taking care of myself and for wanting that magical pill? You know, I'm constantly mad at myself for wanting a magical pill. So how do I break this cycle? Well, you know what? There is no true answer here other than you need to start with being honest with yourself, and then you need to find some self-love. And the rest of the journey is yours. I'm here to guide you and give you some suggestions. But the reason why you don't have self-love is possibly because you're having to ask this question, how do I stop judging myself? How do I stop beating myself up? And it starts with gratitude and appreciation. So if you are stuck in this rut that you don't even know how to find self-love because you've been beating yourself up for so long, then start with the things that you're grateful for. Your knowledge, what are you good at? What naturally comes to you, and cultivate those things. Follow your passions. That's a big part of self-love, is doing something that you love. And self-love needs some passion. So doing something that you're passionate about. Now, in the end, we do need to pay our bills. So don't just go out and quit a job that maybe you're not too happy about right away, but you need to start cultivating something else and working towards something else if your job is not serving you well. Take on a hobby. I've seen people take on hobbies that eventually became their job. And for the most part, you just need to find bhakti. Bhakti is a Sanskrit term for the love and the devotion of something. So once you find your bhakti, your passion, what you love, what you want to do, then you live through that bhakti, the devotion of doing something that you love. And you have to keep that fire burning brightly. The internal fire, the passion, you have to let it burn. You have to keep it burning. And if you're laying in bed all day or on the couch all day, you're probably not cultivating that fire. There's the quote out there, sky above, earth below, fire within. You need to find your fire, that lightness. If you're living in a lot of darkness, bad thoughts, a lot of judgment, beating yourself up, that's darkness. So you need to cultivate the lightness, the fire, and start being more driven by the fire and the lightness and the bhakti, the love and devotion of doing something that you love. And go ahead, be passionate about it. Don't let somebody tell you otherwise. Because if there's something out there that you love, be passionate about it and do it. And this is a lot of where self-love comes from. Now, I'm not talking about going out and buying expensive purses and makeup and skincare lines by Gwyneth Paltrow Goop. I'm just talking about doing things for the love of it. It could be walking your dog. It can be going to the beach, walking in the mountains. The desert is even beautiful. Whatever it is, you got to get out there and do it for the love of it. And then also honesty. Remember, we started with honesty. So we have honesty goes into self-love. And then from there, number 3, I have family and friends. Reason why family and friends aren't number 1 is because we do need to focus on ourselves. We are number 1. You yourself are number 1. And with number 1, you need honesty and self-love. And then you can have community, family, friends, acquaintances. This is where you're able to share that honesty. You're able to be the true, authentic person you are and show them who you really are and let them fall in love with you for who you are. And then you also share the love with them. You have self-love, so you are going to share with them. When you have self-love, you have less jealousy, so you can actually ask that person authentically, hey, how are you doing? How's your business doing? How was your vacation? How was your trip? Sometimes whenever jealousy is consuming us, we don't even want to ask that person, hey, how was your vacation to Greece? Because we're so jealous that they got to go to Greece in the first place that we don't even ask them, how was your trip, right? We are so enveloped in our own jealousy and lack of self-love that we can't be happy for somebody else when they win an award or they get a promotion at their job. And if you ever do feel bitter about somebody getting a promotion at the job, you sit there and say, oh, I don't see how they deserved that. I don't really think they're that good of an employee. How did they deserve that promotion? So while you're over there wallowing in your jealousy and your self-loathing instead of self-loving, you're not appreciating somebody else's accomplishments. So that's what I'm talking about whenever it comes to friends, family, and acquaintances, or even coworkers, is the ability for you to interact with them. It's not a one-way street. So you having the ability to give them a congratulations when they deserve it. And even you saying thank you when they help you with something. How many times when we're in that jealousy and self-loathing that somebody does a good deed for us and you maybe even hesitate on saying thank you because in your mind you're like, oh, I really didn't want you to help me with that. I could have done it on my own. So you're living in this non-honest, low self-esteem, low self-love world that you can't even say thank you when somebody's trying to be nice to you, right? So friends, family, and acquaintances, and remembering it's a two-way street. When they ask you how you're doing, make sure you ask them how they're doing. And then when you do ask them about it, Listen to what they have to say. Don't just block them out. Actually listen. So listening is a big part of having family, friends, acquaintances, and coworkers. So the third pillar, family, friends, acquaintances, community, coworkers, and listen. Number 4, nutrition. Nutrition is huge for me. Being a yoga instructor and a licensed esthetician, nutritionist, master herbalist. But along with nutrition isn't always what we think. And actually, nutrition is a big, huge world of who do we listen to? Do we listen to the dietitianist, the nutritionist, our next door neighbor, the person who's selling essential oils? Who do we listen to for nutrition? First person we listen to is ourselves. We all know we've ate something that didn't agree with us. So that's step 1, is if you know something doesn't agree with you, stay away from it. 2, a little bit of common sense about that you need to eat fruits, vegetables, protein, and even fats, good fats in our diet. But that is definitely doable, common sense. But along with nutrition, I fully believe that nutrition is also reading books and learning. So it's almost like nutrition for your brain. When you feed your brain some nutrition by learning something. So learn more about nutrition and different types of foods and the proteins, carbs, fats. What does that really mean? What is a good fat versus a bad fat? What's a good probiotic versus bad bacteria, right? So nutrition, also feeding your brain some good information so that you can have some common sense about the foods you eat and take in. So nutrition is number 4 for me. Once you're being honest with yourself about maybe having crappy nutrition to begin with, then you can get on board a little bit more with some good nutrition. Also, self-love. When you have more self-love for yourself, you start to realize whenever you eat foods that aren't so good for you, or maybe you drink too much alcohol because you're self-loathing, then you start to notice, oh, when I have self-love and I partake too much in bad food or junk food and alcohol, I don't feel so good. I don't feel that self-love anymore, right? These can all be common sense. Also, family and friends. Maybe you're pushing your family and friends away. They just see how you're not taking care of yourself. We can push people away from us if we're not taking care of ourselves, right? If our self-care is out of whack and we're a little bit angry and depressed and negative all the time, we can push people away. So you need to have all of these together. That's why they're the pillars. And nutrition, again, I want to reiterate that nutrition is also food for your brain, food for thought, food for your body. And a lot of this in Ayurveda comes down to digestion and elimination. We have to have digestion before we eliminate. And I have several podcasts on this kind of stuff. So you can listen to some of my other podcasts. On Ayurveda especially, we'll talk a lot about digestion and elimination. But real quick, digestion, again, is learning something new or eating something. Elimination is eliminating the things that no longer serve you. Things that maybe were important to us back in the day may not be as important to you now, so you're going to purge some of those thoughts, eliminate them, eliminate what no longer serves you anymore, so you can learn something new and bring in some newer, healthy thoughts. Also, food, when you're eating good food, you want to be able to digest it and then eliminate it, because even good food eventually in your body, once it's digested, you no longer need it. It's of no use to you, so it's time to eliminate it. So make sure that you're pooping on a regular basis. You need to be able to poop. Most herbalists will say you need to poop at least 3 times a day. And definitely, if you're not pooping once a day, you are highly constipated. So I say 1 to 3 times a day you need to be pooping and eliminating, as well as letting go of other things that no longer serve you. So the digestion of food, learning something new, and letting this all be nutrition for your body, and then letting go of some old thoughts that maybe don't serve you well anymore. Then along with that, we need movement. I'm a big, big advocate of movement. Movement gets things moving in your body. You can't have new thoughts, new brain cells, new skin cells. Our bodies need to be stimulated with movement in order for things to be new. Your body actually needs movement to create new healthy cells in your body. Movement helps us let go of the old. So again, we have that digestion and elimination, right? Digesting some movement. Get out there. Go for a walk. Walk your dog daily. If you don't have a dog, walk your neighbor's dog. Generally, dog owners appreciate somebody walking their dog because sometimes it's hard to get enough walks in with a dog. I have a dog and he's small, but he requires 2 walks a day minimum. If you take him on more, he'd be ecstatic. Anyways, if you don't have a dog, walk your neighbor's dog, or at least just get out and walk. Something so simple as walking every day. Now you can get a little bit more than that, some yoga, breathing exercises, run. If you are a more hyperactive person, you need to get out and run. Most of my hyperactive clientele or friends and family and acquaintances already know this. Runners, you know this. That if you went a day or 2 without running, you kind of go nuts and you know you need to run. And that's okay. Get out there. Movement gets the lymphatic going, the blood in your body going. It stimulates new growth, new skin cells, new brain cells. Our body is made up of a gazillion cells. And if you want new cells, if you want the key to anti-aging, it's building new cells within your body. And your body can't build new cells if you aren't nutritionally taking care of your body, even self-love, having a good mindset. Again, you got to be able to get out of bed in the morning, right? So your mindset even helps. But get out, movement, whatever it is, hiking, biking. I am not a gym person. I don't like to go to a gym and lift weights. So you don't have to go out and sign up for an expensive health club. Just get outside and do something for your body. So movement was number 5. I'm not sure I mentioned that earlier, but number 5 is movement. Number 6 is having purpose. You need to have purpose in life. So now that you're honest with yourself and you have self-love and you are interacting healthily with family, friends, and acquaintances by letting the relationships be a 2-way street, and nutritionally you're feeding your body some good nutrition, and you're also getting movement. So if there's something else still missing in your life, it's purpose. We all need to have a purpose. There's a Japanese word out there, Ikigai, which hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, but Ikigai. Your Ikigai is your purpose. It is in the culture, traditionally, the word is each person in the family. Most families still live together, where you have grandpa, grandma, the parents, the kids, and the kids might even be getting married and having children. So you have grandchildren and great-grandchildren, but they'll all live sometimes in the same house or in the community. And each person in that family has their Ikigai, their purpose. So within that family, you might have the person who's good at hunting and gathering. They're good with a bow and arrow or whatever they're hunting with, right? They're good at it. And then you have the person who's got the green thumb. They're really good at gardening and growing things and cultivating the fruits and vegetables and the herbs. And then you also usually have the healer in the family. You have the person who seems to understand the body well. And when somebody is sick in the family, they're the one who's going to put together the tinctures and the tea and make sure that that person's getting the vitamins and nutrients that they need, or cleansing the wounds and bandaging it. So you have the healer of the family. You have the cook. There's always an Ikigai for someone in the family that's good at cooking, and they're going to spend their time in the kitchen cooking. Maybe somebody who's good at cleaning, and they're going to keep the household up, do the laundry. So I think maybe I've given enough examples here to know that in these families, these communities, If you even just get into a community, in the day you had the blacksmith, the grocer, and the builder, right? So you go to the grocery store to buy your groceries. Many of us don't garden anymore, nor do we hunt and gather, right? We just go to the grocery store. So your Ikigai, your purpose, you need to have a purpose. Within your family dichotomy, think about that. Are you known even in your family as the person who maybe is the cleaner one that's always picking up after others? Well, you know what? That's your purpose. And while sometimes we want to complain about picking up after other people, it's also something where you're good at it. And so therefore, be proud of yourself for it. Appreciate it, that is maybe your Ikigai and your purpose. It's really interesting. A lot of times in yoga, we often call it your dharma, what you're meant to do, what you're naturally good at is your dharma. And today I'm using the word Ikigai. Often, sometimes our dharma or our Ikigai, we might kind of resent it. Like I was using the example of picking up after the other family members. We might complain that we're always picking up after family members. But the purpose of Ikigai is to actually understand that you have a purpose. Job security, if you want to think of it that way, at your job, right? You happen to be really good at something at your job, and it's job security that you're the one who handles that all the time. But purpose. So figure out what your purpose is. What are you naturally good at? And this even goes back to a little bit of the self-love, right? Doing the things that you're passionate about. What motivates you? What's your bhakti? Doing something for the love and the devotion. Now, for some reason, in the middle of the day when we're picking up after somebody else, we have a hard time seeing the love for that. But if that's what drives you, you probably actually do love having a clean space, an uncluttered space. And so how can you start to appreciate and see what you're naturally good at as a positive thing? We spend too much time again in jealousy and self-loathing and judgment and even judging others whenever somebody else might be amazing at something else. So while you're picking up after them, they're probably good at something you're not. So this is that appreciation and gratitude that comes back to even self-love. Appreciate family and friends and acquaintances and coworkers around you for what they are good at, and appreciate yourself for what you are good at. It's your Ikigai. Number 7. This is where it all comes together. This one, I just want to call it peace, love, abundance. Number 7 is having those daily affirmations or mantras, whatever you want to call them. But daily, you have things that you think about to help keep you going throughout the day, to where you can feel good about yourself, remind yourself, constant reminders. These are your reminders, your mantras, your affirmations. And mine is always peace, love, abundance. And then I usually add on to it gratitude, appreciation, self-love, a lot of my pillars, right? As well as creativity, getting out there, doing something new to create some creativity in me. Number 7, I'm sharing with you that mine is peace, love, and abundance. These are the 3 basic elements that I start with any meditation that I do, my podcast, my yoga classes, I share it with them. So you can think of these as seeds that I sow. Every day I have these 3 seeds that I know I need to sow and make sure that I remind myself of and I accomplish them. So what are they for you? You can have 1, 2, or 3. I choose to have 3, but maybe you just have 1. And for me, these don't change. These 3 don't change. But each week, I often mix it up. When I was studying for my esthetician test down here in Hawaii, I've been an esthetician for almost 15 years, but to get licensed in Hawaii, in a new state that I'm living in, I had to retake the test. So I had to show appreciation for learning something that I should already know, but refreshing myself, coming back to my roots. My mantra for a few weeks was still my peace, love, abundance, learning, skincare, esthetician, exam. I will pass the exam. So I really had to cultivate some other positive things that I feel like they came together for me, because every day I reminded myself of what was important to me and what needed to get done. So, number 7 brings it all together. It brings together the honesty, self-love, friends, family, acquaintances, and community, nutrition, movement, purpose, your Ikigai, taking that into a meditation, or at least when you're just driving and sitting in traffic, remember to think about the things that are most important to you. Again, for a few weeks there, the thing that was most important to me was passing that damn test. And on top of that, I still needed to find my peace, love, and abundance. These are the things that keep me going. And on top of it all, just being impeccable with my words and my thoughts. Your words and your thoughts are best friends. And you have to really be careful about what you think and what you say. What you're putting out there to the universe and what you're manifesting could be the complete opposite of what you think if you keep saying something else, or vice versa. If you keep saying one thing but thinking another, be careful, because which one's going to manifest? So try and get your words to match your thoughts. Listen to your body, listen to yourself, listen to family and friends. And you know what? Take those leaps of faith. Sometimes you just got to step out there and just do it. We don't know. We can't overthink the results. Sometimes you just got to do it. But these are some of the things that makes me tick, helps me get through my days, and I'm excited about another year of doing what I love. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you enjoy listening to my podcast. Give me some feedback, love, share with somebody who might want to hear what I have to say. And also visit my website. My website is www.reneestahl.online. It's my name. Don't go to .com. It's some weird Japanese cleaning website. I suppose that's their Ikigai though, right? Anyway, make sure you go to reneestahl.online. I have an online yoga studio with a monthly membership of $10 a month, where you can learn more about the chakras, Ayurveda, 8 limbs of yoga, connecting the dots, affirmations, mantras, all of this stuff. So if you liked what you heard here today, you might like learning more from me. So please check out my website, my offerings. And also I teach locally in Maui. If you're ever in Maui, look me up, come do some yoga with me. And facials also in Maui. Come get a facial from me. I'd love to spoil your skin and you. And this is where I'll leave you today. I'll leave you with, of course, peace, love, abundance, and namaste.